Hello, hello, beautiful people. This is Major, and it is yet another episode of The Hope in Between with Major, my mama's favorite hope dealer, and my good sister, Eunice Elliott. Eunice, real quick, are you feeling okay? Are you
I'm
doing
feeling
okay?
I'm feeling okay. I'm doing okay. I'm better than okay. Let me tell you, we have embarked upon my favorite season of the year. I
Hmm.
can put on a sweater or not, just enjoy the cool
Isn't
breeze.
that more the
Oh,
21st night of September? You're a little
in
quick with it.
Alabama, it is fall. Football has started. The sun has retired a bit. The sun ain't trying to prove a point every day, all the time. And it's a nice, gentle breeze. And it is my favorite time. I went for a walk by myself. Don't tell my dogs this morning, just to enjoy the breeze. And I take them out late at night. One, I used to walk them at night because the pavement isn't as hot. But I was like, you know what? The pavement might even be cold to you now. So I'm very happy. I am someone whose personality is very directly correlated to the weather.
Got it. Got it.
So I'm good.
Well,
What about
the
you?
weather is changing. People are getting allergies. It's kind of crazy out here. There's a new COVID strand, and so it's like it's just very strange what's happening. But
Yeah.
nevertheless,
How are
we are
you?
here.
How are you
There is
doing?
hope in between. We'll talk more about it. I want us to do what we always do every time we get this thing going. Before we get too much into it, I want us to be present in it. Beautiful people, this is the hope in between. And I want to make certain that all of us are locked in because what we're here to offer is midweek relief. In the midst of all of life, there is still hope because hope ain't ever canceled. And one way we get to that reminder is by simply exercising a constant gift of life, and that is the gift of breath, to breathe. Let's catch our breath and be present in it. On the count of three, we're going to take a deep breath in and then we're going to let it out. One, two, three. Let it out. Once again, on the count of three, in through your nose and out through your mouth. One, two, three. Let it out. All right, now this time we're going to think about all the things that pile up on our plate, everything that's pulling for our attention, needing our energy, needing our response, good or bad, even, whatever it is. Let's just take it all in on the count of three. One, two, three. Now let it out. That right there is what we call surrender. It's the release, it's the let go of things beyond our control, and also things that we just may not want to deal with in the right now moment. When we catch our breath, what it does is it commands the right now urgency to fall in line with the pace of our chosen grace. Never let life rush you so much so that you forget to catch your breath, beautiful people. This is the hope in between with Major and Eunice Elliott. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And also put some comments down in the comments section if you're watching or listening via YouTube, youtube.com/. Now That's Major, or on the iHeart Network. Just kind of give us some of the feedback. Let us know what you enjoy. Let us know what you want to hear more of. Nevertheless, we are here to give you that hope. Eunice, let's get into it. We have had quite a weekend, quite a week prior, and let's talk about it. You're on tour.
Yes, we
You're back on
start
tour,
back
yeah.
in earnest this weekend. Knoxville, Tennessee, and Memphis, Tennessee. We're actually going to be performing at Graceland and staying at Graceland, so that'll be interesting.
Oh,
I'm one of those people that does not believe Elvis died when they told us Elvis died. I think he's dead by now. I just don't think he died then. But anyway, that's for another day. So I'm actually excited about going and checking that out. But yeah, like I said, both of my puppies have cost me a lot of money this last week in vet bills, and we're just going to encourage them to do better. Okay. Oh, I mean, get better. feel better, but also do better. Mommy,
Oh
But
my
anyway,
gosh.
so yeah, I'm actually seriously, I am feeling I've been traveling a lot. I just had an international trip, and so I'm a little jet lagged, but my body, my mind, my spirit, my energy is feeling really good right now.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah.
What about you, my
I
friend?
I'm really happy that you're back in motion. But I mean, you weren't not in motion
I just had a
before, but
break. Yeah.
yeah, you had a break, you had a pause, little foreshadowing of something we're going to talk about. But
Let me tell you
um
who's really happy that I'm back in action, and that would be my significant other. Because when I was on break, I had more time to be like, "And where you at? And why you ain't
yeah,
called
yeah.
me? And what you doing? And when was the last time you said this to me?" And now I'm
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh yeah, I'll talk to you later. I'm busy. Okay,
Yeah,
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 take
yeah,
care.
yeah.
Be
We'll
well.
talk.
See you next
Love
week."
you, love you in a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig it. I will say that I've had quite an incredible week. It's been some really cool things. My sister got married on Friday.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, she's been engaged for a little while, but they decided to do a courthouse wedding and then the celebration, and it was beautiful. It
Those are
was really,
really the
really
hot thing
beautiful.
now. That I've been inspired by those. Who knows?
You're
Yeah.
saving tens of thousands
Yes.
of dollars
Yes. Yes.
on
I
what
I'm
matters
looking at that.
most.
That's yeah. I think those are beautiful. I've seen some very beautiful, and even the photography for some of them based on the
Woo!
buildings and whatever. Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
like literally shout out to their photographer. Incredible work. This guy literally turned over some photos same day and it was just breathtaking. But even while he was taken, of course, I'm Mr. Uh uh
Let me hear what
um
he's gonna come up with. He's gonna say,
what's the
"Mister, do
word?
it better than the professional." Go ahead.
I'm just Mr. Get It Done
Hmm.
in excellence by any means necessary. And so often when we find folks that can handle and execute in or at the level of the excellence that I expect, it blows me away. And
Hmm.
I was literally looking at his camera after he would show me a few pictures, and I'm like, bro, you just did that? Like his
Yeah.
eye was brilliant, super cool. Shout out to my sister Alethea and her husband Darian, my new brother-in-law. I'm super
Sweet.
excited for them. And family was able to come. Not everybody was able to be there because the limitation of only having 15 in the courtroom, but
Hmm.
it was beautiful. We were able to celebrate and have a great time. And then I immediately hopped a plane to St. Louis as I was the special guest performer for the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, the
Oh
actual
wow.
full on, Gospel Music Hall of Fame. So
Hmm.
that was pretty special. Got to celebrate some key folks along my journey, including Uncle G and Benita Bellamy and Monica Bacon and Gina Miller and so many others. But it was a beautiful time. And so I did that, got back home, and I am back in the flow, the thick of life, preparing for this uh, this tour, short run that I have for the Hope Dealer Sessions
Which
celebration.
have released. The Hope Dealer sessions have been released since the last time we met up.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what has that been
absolutely.
for you since the release? What has been the feedback? What has been the feeling? For this is, I would say, I don't know. We haven't discussed this. I would say this is a different kind of project. I was curious about, I know your inspiration in wanting to offer people hope as your mother's favorite hope dealer.
Yeah.
But as a musician, as an artist, how did you come to this recording?
Well, I will say, firstly, thank you for supporting it. And to your question, I would say it is absolutely me in the fullness of who I am. I think if you come to my concert experiences, I basically give you the hope dealer sessions. Like you're
Hmm.
going to get
Yeah.
music and you're going to get motivation, the spoken motivation to really speak and encourage your heart. I am grateful that I was able to put this project together. I don't think I was expecting it to be as beautiful of an outcome to the level that it was. I did know that it was going to be quality because that's just how I move. But
Hmm.
I think even the order and the flow of motivation to music, to motivation to music, motivation to music, motivation to music. That that ratio of spoken word to music, like it was just brilliantly curated, and that's much to the help of my good brother Josiah Bell, who executive produced it. But a nod to the producers that were involved in some of the songs that includes Teddy P and Harmony Samuels JV. I'm just really grateful for this project because I feel it represents who I am to a great scale, and in the diversity of who I am, but it also speaks to the right now times to encourage the hearts of the earth. Being we're taken through the ringer. It's
Mhm.
we're being drugged through the
Yeah.
ringer with everything that's happening in life, and I'm providing tools on how to weather it all. And I think, talking about the Hope Dealer Sessions and this tour that's going to hit Atlanta on the 16th of September, New York on the 20th, Boston on the 21st, and Pittsburgh on the 23rd. And then I think we hit Cincinnati on the 27th and Oxnard, California on the 28th. But I think it's going to be the goodness that we all need, but
Mhm.
much to what our theme of today is, and you can kind of go and lead us there. I think this is what's going to help people. We need content that gives people the relief and also tools, not just here's something else to do, but also some exhale,
Mhm.
because life is life in yo.
Yeah. Yeah, well, our theme for today is finding strength in the pause. Okay.
Yes,
So
so
life
good.
challenges often force us all to have to slow down, and it can be through loss, failure, uncertainty, or just unexpected changes. But instead of viewing these pauses, oftentimes we view them as setbacks. We want to figure out and support everyone in reframing them as opportunities for renewal, reflection, and redirection. And this kind of
Right.
piggybacks on a social media topic that was pretty viral last week with
Woo.
Tabitha Brown. And she was talking about how sometimes when you are in the midst of being an entrepreneur, you might need to pause and
Yeah.
maybe get employment to stay afloat.
Yeah,
And it
get
was
a
also
job
get a
aside.
job. And for
Yeah.
some reason, people took it very negatively from her. And I think sometimes, and she's a great example, she is not a controversial figure by any stretch.
No,
But a lot of
no.
times when people have problems with the messenger, they've missed the message. It's something they have going on with the messenger. Is how dare you? You don't have to get a job. Well, she was hustling and driving Uber, and that's how she started her whole thing, was recording herself trying to figure out how to be a vegetarian, eating a sandwich in the car. You know, um, and she
Exactly.
wanted to be an actress and was pursuing that, and that wasn't popping off, and so she had to get other jobs. And so yeah, that's wonderful that she has been able to attain a certain level of success where she is 100% her job, her brand, and all the things she's doing. But people did not like her saying, hey, get a job.
Listen, and she spoke to this is not an insult to say that what you're doing is not going to work.
Right.
She's just saying in the meantime.
Hmm.
And that in between time is mean time. It is mean. It is difficult. It is tough. It is harsh. It is heavy. And the wisdom from someone who has done it should be the very wisdom that we embrace.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, we're so quick to listen to people that haven't even reached it, that when you have somebody that literally is thriving in the space that they've pursued, but know what it's like to get a job in the meantime
Right.
until they can have free time,
Right.
like it's why wouldn't you take her advice? And why
Yeah.
are we always choosing to be offended first?
And and that's a separate conversation. Maybe we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah,
Choosing
yeah, yeah,
offense as your first,
absolutely.
retort. But the thing is about the messaging though. It reminds me, I remember Leslie Jones, the
Mm.
comedian actress, shared that Cat Williams is someone who had her reframe her thinking. He said the reason why you haven't made it is because you're acting out of your desperation and not based on your talent.
Woo.
Now, if you need to get a job, you probably are in a desperate situation where you're making choices and decisions that aren't really leaning into your talent and gift. And so you're not going to get the result in the dream because desperation has been your head coach for a minute. And we've
Yeah.
all been there, you know? And so, yeah, let's say you pause what you were doing to kind of get a better footing. You know, I am a wonderful example. I would like to use myself of when I moved out to Los Angeles. Look, Los Angeles don't care nothing about your dreams, your talent, your grandmama feelings, mama them. It don't care. It's going to eat you alive. And what happens is it's hard to be an artist. It's hard to be creative when you don't know how you going to pay your rent and you don't know how
But
you
I
going to
will
fill up the
say
gas
this.
tank.
I will say this, some of the best creativity is birthed from the struggle and strain.
For
But
sure. As far as the
what
story of it though, the
yeah,
story of
but
it,
yeah,
living it
and
is different.
it is.
Yeah.
But I want to make it clear that what I gathered from what Tabitha was saying was she's speaking from experience and not judgment, first and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
foremost. But it's wisdom. It's not an insult. This everybody knows that every industry is not as profitable as it used to be.
Mhm.
People are not making way more money than what they used to make in almost every single industry. There may be a few, the very 1% that are making crazy amounts of money beyond what someone else has ever made in that specific industry. But most of these industries are struggling because we're trying to catch up with inflation. We're trying to catch up with systems that are blocking progress and productivity. And so finding other streams of income while pursuing your mainstream is not a negative. It
Right.
is not a negative. It is wisdom. I have taken on assignments of being a vocal coach. I've taken on assignments of selling uh, portraits for Olin Mills. I have uh, passed out flyers like for companies. I have done so much stuff in the meantime that allowed me to fund the dream.
Right.
Look at it that way. Look
Well,
at it that
and
way.
that's the thing.
Any true entrepreneur understands this. Do what you have to do until you can afford to do what you want to do.
Right.
That
And
part.
but the challenge sometimes, and I think what people struggled with in the message is I think I'm assuming based on the negative feedback, it's like they're saying, okay, if you're an entrepreneur and it goes back, don't be an entrepreneur anymore, go get a job. And I don't
No,
think that's what she
she
was
didn't say
saying.
that at
You
all.
have got to figure out how to sustain yourself. And if your
Yes.
business is not able to do that right now, that doesn't mean shut down your business and then just go back and work for someone else. It's hey, figure out how to get some hustle and you're gonna probably have some more hours in your day, but to be able to sustain yourself while you are also still working to sustain the dream. Now, what I was gonna say about when I moved to LA, I had to put pause on the Los Angeles dream based on a lot of different uh personal challenges, whether
Yeah.
it was my mom needing some help, it was financial, it was my dogs, it was whatever. And when I tell you, just this past week I realized that decision to go to Los Angeles in the first place was so validated because I made so many wonderful connections, planted so many amazing seeds. Within the last 2 weeks, I've been flown back to Los Angeles and I've been flown out of the country based on relationships I made in Los Angeles from
Right.
from Alabama, in my pause, right? And I'm like, so
Right.
that tells you, hey, I am so glad that I was able to show up and be my best self because I had to pivot, and I think sometimes there's pride and ego attached to not pivoting. It's pride and ego attached to what will people think because they saw me doing this and now I've had to pivot and do that. And I'm saying, hey, ain't nobody name on your bills but yours. Don't worry about people's perception because you don't know what battles
Yeah.
they fighting
I
and do
I
what you got to do to make it happen.
Ego,
Yeah.
ego, 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 ego is why so many people were offended. Not anything but ego.
Yeah.
Because if you really heard what was said, it was not diminishing the promise of anyone's future in entrepreneurship. It was, hey, some of you have not made any money in
Mhm.
all this time, and you are down bad, and you're what is it, robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you have put yourself in a deeper hole that is not supporting the promise of your win, because all you're doing is adding yourself in deeper debt.
Mhm.
And so getting a job can, one, do, there's multiple things that the benefit of having a job, it reestablishes an order and a structure that informs how you should move as an entrepreneur, because there's still principle on how anything prosperous should function. And a lot of times when you hop into entrepreneurship before learning a flow and an order of structure of true efficiency and productivity, you will then only run yourself into the ground. But there's takeaways that come with getting a job. There's financial capital that you can save and get from having a job. She didn't say, get a job that's going to keep you so busy that you'll never be able to focus on your dream. She said, just get a job. Get a job.
Get
Get a
a
job.
job.
And I want to say that loud because I've
Yeah.
been in the position helping a lot of people that just won't get a job sometimes, or they're like, yeah, I just can't. Now, mind you, it is tough to get a lot of work. I remember when having a degree, I was told by many places, you're too qualified for this. We
Mhm.
cannot hire you.
Right.
Yes, it's tough, but there are some things that people can do that if you're just willing to humble yourself and just get back out there, you can get a job. Get an in the meantime job. It's okay.
And if
And
job
it's
is really a bad word, figure out how to make money doing something. Okay,
that
because
part. Yeah,
sometimes
because I think that's what
the
it
word
probably
job
was. The
is the bad
connotation
word.
of that. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, the
yeah.
connotation. And I would say we're saying entrepreneurship, but even as creatives, when I first started doing comedy, you better believe I had a job, and it got to the point where either I was getting in trouble for doing comedy or I had dates that I wanted to do and my day job was interfering and I had to make a choice, right?
And how many times did you use the computer or the copy machine to
Resources, baby. It's called
to print
resources.
your
Okay.
resume or this or that? Like,
Right.
come
And so
on,
it's like,
headshot.
hey, this is a blessing. And that's the thing that when I write for comedians or work with young people who, not necessarily young people, but young people in the business, the first thought is, I want to be a full time comedian. I want to quit my job. Okay, we don't need to think about quitting your job. So I tell people all the time, if you are a creative and you have a day job, keep your day job. One day you will be out of PTO. One day you will be out of vacation time. One day, but that's because you booking so many gigs, then okay, it's time for me to lean on this full time. But as long as you got vacation days available at your job, as a creative, as a performer, you ain't used up all your time, you ain't used up all your excuses. Keep that job. There will be a
Yeah,
day when you run out of days and you got a big booking and you're going to have to make a choice. But make a healthy choice, but not out of desperation. Yes.
absolutely. And if you're creative, get creative with the job.
Yeah.
Like I was freaking doing vocal production. I was doing voice lessons. I was doing stage performance coaching. Get creative. There's ways
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
And I'll say this because I want to touch something that we kind of briefly mentioned right before we started recording. One, we'll start here. To anybody listening that is building, getting a job does not mean you stop building. That's not at all what is being said. I spoke to Tabitha directly actually after this, and she says, I don't understand how they could take the offense from what I was saying, because I wasn't saying anything beyond do what you have to do now so you can do what you want to do later.
Mm-hmm.
Get the job, get the work to pay those bills, to build your capital, to save up so
Mm-hmm.
that you can launch that great dream that you have. No one has said to abort or to abandon the dream. And then I want to go to this point because you said something, Eunice, about your LA time. You were starting to see a pattern of, oh, maybe this is not consistent enough to sustain me. So you made a choice to pivot. And I think we don't talk enough about the intentional choosing of a pause because sometimes life will have to pause us
Right.
because wisdom did not step in and say, you know what? I should probably put a pause here,
Mhm.
not a stop, but a pause, not a quit, but a
Mhm.
pause. Because we'll get back to it and press play again. We'll get that record back playing. If you heard the Hope Dilla sessions, you'll know that's the first
Yes.
track.
Mhm.
But what is it when you have to choose the pause?
Mhm.
Let's speak to that.
I will speak for mine personally. I was in a unique situation in Los Angeles in that I still had a mortgage in Alabama.
Hmm. Yeah,
So it
yeah,
wasn't just that I was living and paying Los Angeles bills, I was also still maintaining my home. And so
yeah,
although I was getting a lot of great exposure, making a lot of good relationships and a lot of good connections, I had to pause and make a choice of, okay, if I was going to have to let something go, it's not going to be my house. Okay.
right.
So it's going to be the studio apartment in Koreatown. Okay.
Absolutely,
That's what we're going to
absolutely.
let go. And so it was this idea for me to say, hey, opportunities are going to come based on my talent and ability. And I have planted some amazing seeds, and I do not have to stand over the ground to watch it grow. If anything, that would disturb it. So that's why I had to make the choice to leave all these great opportunities. You know, folks, the folks back home in Alabama,
Yeah,
girl, you
yeah,
killing
yeah,
it in LA. I
yeah,
had to pause and say, okay, physically, emotionally, financially, this is a little bit more stress than I want to carry right now. I have a house to go back to. I have a mama to go home to, and I have a backyard to put my dogs in. And
yeah,
let me recalibrate. Okay.
yeah,
Los Angeles is still 100% a part of my daily story, part of my
yeah.
daily activity. Like I said, I was just there 2 weeks
You were
ago.
just here filming,
Right. And so that's the
still
thing,
living the dream.
still living the dream, but I had to pivot and I could not hold on to, I was there for 13 months. You don't know how many times I heard people say, well, you got to stay for at least 2 years. You got to stay for at least 5 years before you. And so hearing everybody else's story and journey, I had to say, I am going to make this executive decision for myself today. I don't have to explain it to anyone. And when I tell you the validation I have received time and time and time again, that was 100% the best decision for me at that time. Now, I think it's attributed to Barack Obama that he said, you don't have to be 100% sure, be 51% sure and move on that.
Mm,
Okay. And
mm,
sometimes you might think you at the point of pivot, but you're not 100% sure. Are you 50? If you 48% sure,
right.
move on that. Okay. Because
Yeah,
the worst
and
thing is when you don't pivot and now you in that hole when you say, you know what, I should have pivoted. That pride, that ego kept me there when I could have
and
pivoted
and
and maintained.
we have to stop equating pivot with exit. They're
Exactly.
not the
Or
same.
failure or even failure. Yeah.
They are not the same.
Right.
They are not the same. And so I also, I mean, I think it kind of also brings us back to what we always practice at the top of our sessions, that catching your breath. When you pivot sometimes, when you pause sometimes, that allows you time to assess,
Mm-hmm.
to strategize, to take inventory of what is building and what is taken away, what is growing and what is dying. And if you don't make room for the pause, you are going to find yourself tangled up in a web of never, never land, where you honestly will never, ever experience the promise of your potential or the fulfillment of what it is that I believe many of us were destined to accomplish. It sucks that they say the cemetery is the full of unfulfilled dreams,
Mm-hmm.
unrealized hopes, because people weren't doing the due diligence of pacing themselves, of taking proper assessment, of planning, of building, of course correcting, of pivoting. It's all a part of it. I got a song And yes, shameless plug, the Hope Dealer Sessions. There's a one that talks about Selah, be still. And it literally speaks to a rush is pushed up on my mind, making me choose. Anxious to be next in line. I just can't lose. Burdened with when is my time? I gotta break through. Again, I hear you saying, Selah, be still. Before you do, before you choose, Selah, be still. When the world demands that you move before you breathe, just say Selah. Selah, be still. In our building and our creating, don't get so caught up in just being busy. That productivity is not your reward or your result. If it ain't productive, if it doesn't profit, get away from it. You're doing something wrong. If you can't identify a gain or a win, you're doing something wrong. And a pause is a gift to reassess and to course correct. Tell me I'm lying. If I'm
You're not
lying,
lying. You're not lying.
come
Now,
on.
back to the shameless plug. Tell everybody how and where to download their own personal copy of the Hope Dealer Sessions.
Beautiful people, you can get the Hope Dealer Sessions on any digital streaming platform that you choose, be it Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, Tidal, Deezer, Amazon Music, Google Play. Wherever you get it, you have no excuse. Go get that. Go get that. It is out there. The Hope Dealer Sessions from Major is a motivational mixtape of spoken word and music amplifying hope in life, love, and culture. Because hope ain't ever canceled, good people. And I promise you, when you put your ears on this powerful 22 minutes of goodness, you're going to thank me later because it's good, good. Eunice, I think that brings us to our close. I
Yeah,
think we
I was
had
gonna
a,
say I
yeah,
enjoyed the Hope Dealer Sessions. I
yeah.
particularly enjoyed. I felt like you didn't use this term, but I felt like in listening to the music, it felt like a reimagining of
Mm.
music from you we've heard, but like a reimagining of some of the
Yeah,
tracks. Like,
For the Win was one that I've done
yes,
before,
prayed for you.
I prayed for you with
Mm-hmm.
David Banner
Mm-hmm.
featured on it, and I love how he flips it to speak to the heart of the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And David Banner has a big platform that seeks to amplify the beauty and the honor of the Black woman, the queen, and all of her living and enduring. And so I love how he allowed that intention of the
Mm-hmm.
song to be amplified all the more. His verse is so dope. And
Yeah.
so yeah, check it out. It's some remakes, some reimaginations. I have the Berkeley Summer Gospel Choir that has joined me on it. But uh but yeah, between the Hope Dealer Sessions and this tour that both, I'm on for me and Eunice is on for her, we working and we putting this
We
hope
working.
into the world.
Yes. Always great when we can catch up and breathe together.
Absolutely. Let's do it one more time on the count of three. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Let it out, good people. Yet another episode of The Hope in Between with Major and my good sister Eunice Elliott. Until next time, remember to like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to us on youtube.com/now that's major or on iHeart, we say thank you and we'll see you again. Peace.